In the 9 months since I built a bridge to access the back acreage of my property, I've only gotten the Gator stuck twice on that really steep hill next to it. The first time was on the maiden voyage when I went up the hill too slow and got stuck on some soft dirt. The second time just happened a week ago when I was driving down the hill with one hand on the wheel while trying to hold one of my drills from flying off the front seat. Not a smart move. Fortunately for me, as I lost control, the Gator slid sideways and was stopped by a big oak tree, which probably stopped me from tipping over. I didn't really have a way of getting out because I don't have a winch on the front of my Gator, and it probably wouldn't have helped anyway because the front of the Gator was right up against the tree. If you aren't familiar with these Warren portable winches, I'd highly recommend buying one. It's a great little tool that can be used for a lot of things, like getting your side-by-side out of a tough spot, lifting heavy items, or even possibly moving heavy logs for a log cabin build. More on that later. This Warren winch is rated to move about 1,000 pounds, which is 500 pounds less than what my Gator weighs. I'm gonna see if it'll pull the back of my Gator out a bit and then try to do the same with the front. I'm thinking that the soft dirt along with the hill decline will allow that to happen. It's been said that experience is the best teacher, and I tend to agree with that. I started this off-grid journey almost 3 years ago on nearly 30 acres of Tennessee wilderness and had practically no experience at all with outdoors, cabin, bridge building, and pretty much everything else that went along with it. Building this lumber log cabin helped me develop skills I never knew I had. I made my share of mistakes along the way, but learned a lot about patience and what my true capabilities were. It really was an off-grid learning experience. For years, I've always dreamed about building a log cabin using trees from my own land. I think the time is now to try to make that dream a reality. I hope you follow along to see all the highs and lows this build will be sure to bring. A genuine log cabin and an epic off-grid experience. So you can probably tell from this scene that the straight line winch pull did not work because I exceeded the 1,000-pound weight limit and the winch short-circuited. I think it's time to try the snatch block method now. I've never used one before, but from what I've read, it will lighten the pull load by as much as a half, which is exactly what I need. This little tool only cost me about 30 bucks, but will probably end up saving me thousands in headaches. If this works like I think it will, I may have found a way to lift those heavy cabin logs into place when I get to that point in the build. The snatch block is secured to a lifting strap thanks to a heavy-duty D-ring. I've got the back end of the winch secured to the Gator, and then the front side cable routed through the snatch block and then back to the underside of the Gator again. This engineered pulling method is what reduces the load by up to a half. Let's turn the Gator on and put it in neutral, throw a jacket over the cable for safety, and see what happens. Everything seemed to work as planned. The only sketchy thing was worrying about the cable snapping and flying back, causing damage to either me or the Gator. Thankfully, that never happened. Now that I have the Gator back in use, I realize just how reliant I am on it for all things I'm doing here at the property. A couple of times having to backpack 75 pounds worth of equipment up steep hills and down valleys by foot was a real eye-opener for me. My property is pretty remote and really only accessible by foot or side by side. I never would have been able to do the things I've done without the Gator. It made me appreciate even more a YouTube channel I watch called Cabin River Outdoors. His property is out in the middle of nowhere and makes my struggles look like a picnic. I'd encourage you to check it out if you haven't already. I'd like to thank Bluetti for powering this video thanks to the new Elite 200 V2 power station. It's the most versatile 2000 watt unit on the market, featuring groundbreaking improvements in design, functionality, and performance. I've been using it to charge my battery packs for my cordless drills and saws, my corded chainsaw sharpener, my mini 4K drone, and even my portable winch, all with relative ease. Here you can clearly see all the AC and DC power being used thanks to its intuitive LED screen. Here's my mini drone being powered via the USB-C port using DC, while my battery pack is charging in the AC port. The Elite 200 V2 is extremely durable thanks to its automotive-grade LifePo4 battery cells that have a 17-year lifespan and 6,000 plus life cycle to 80%. You can see here how rugged it is, as I used it to power my portable winch to get my XUV out of a tough spot. Along with its durability, it's got more than enough power for any scenario thanks to its 2600 watt output, which can be increased to an industry-leading 3900 watts in powerlifting mode, all in a compact frame that can be used anywhere. The Elite 200 V2 can also be controlled by an easy-to-use Bluetti app, which allows for real-time battery monitoring and other energy-saving settings. So along with every port needed to power all your devices, it can be quickly charged to 80% in just a little over an hour. I've used Bluetti power stations for well over 2 years at my off-grid cabin and have been really happy with the reliability and durability no matter where I take it on the property. Whether it's inside or outside, it's always up to the task. These are probably the main reasons I would recommend the Elite 200 V2 as an all-around power station. The strong 5-year warranty and 6,000 plus life cycle are also really good reasons to consider this unit. If you'd like more information on this power station, I'm going to include a link in the video description, as well as a discount specifically for the Off-Grid Experience channel. Again, I'd like to thank Bluetti for powering this video. So now that I have the main cabin concrete piers ready to go, it's time to start installing the timber rim beams. These beams are going around the entire perimeter and will support the cabin logs. I had most of them left over from my lumber log cabin and hot tub platform build, so I'm kind of glad to put them to use. I put anchor bolts in each concrete pier with the idea I would secure the rim beams to them. The challenge will be to drill holes in the beams so that they line up with the anchor bolts in the concrete while being perfectly flush with the piers all the way around. Setting the beams on the bolts while hammering them down should create some marks on the underside that will be pretty accurate to drill holes with. I wanted to use the square timber beams because I also plan to bolt the floor joists into them. The idea of bolting in square joists to round logs had me a little concerned. I think that's enough talking for one video. I hope you enjoy the rest of it.